Let's get into some things, child. We got some stuff to talk about today, honey. We got some stuff to talk about. Hit that like button if you are new here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have a great time over here. You meant what you said when you said it. Really be as bad, because I'll be understanding y'all sometimes. And when y'all know when I say y'all, you know I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about y'all. Fix me that all these people that got something to say have been actively involved in the political process in their world. I don't believe it. You ain't gonna convince me. I know y'all love me. Y'all, look, I'm still down the rabbit hole. That's what, listen, I'm sorry I'm late. I scheduled this for 3 o'clock. I was wrestling with that thumbnail. It's still not the thumbnail that I want, but it's okay. But I was wrestling with that thumbnail. And then I opened up my my TikTok so I could get the stuff ready that I want to play for y'all. And I opened up another video, and this is Donovan's sister, the one that did the impact statement. I'm following her TikTok, and she did a video basically saying, like, giving her synopsis on, like, because she was in the documentary, and so she's kind of talking a little bit. She was saying, I'm just go ahead and tell you what she's saying, because before we get into it, she was saying she was only a year behind Dominic and Mackenzie, and she was like, I didn't like Mackenzie because Mackenzie was, she was the first person to try to peer pressure me into smoking weed. My brother went off on her, and so no, we weren't friends, and I didn't like her. And then she just went on to say some other stuff that I'm probably going to end up saying anyway. She was saying Landon, aka Bubba, was not best friends with her brother. They were not best friends. She was like, they knew each other, sure, but they were not best friends. That Landon was trying to make it seem like, he was like, Landon and Rosie did not cooperate with the police, did not cooperate with the authorities, but cooperated with Netflix. So you can do with that what you want. So yeah, but I feel right. So listen, y'all, we talked about the crash last night. And I know Tracy came up and told us some stuff. There was a lot of stuff in the chat. And I told you guys, feel free to put things in the chat. Add what you want to add. I don't know everything. I don't see everything. But baby, let me tell you something. I fell into that rabbit hole this morning. I started by listening to some of the tapes, some of the phone calls. And then from there, baby, I fell off the deep end. And I said, well, I have to come down here and just do another video with you guys. Now, Tracy said the bar's open. Go and get y'all a drink. Y'all gonna need one. Even if you need a mocktail, go get you one. The bar is pineapple bourbon smash, a vanilla bean lychee martini, a dragon fruit gin. Lord, I'm trying to read too fast. And tonic. And for the non-drinkers, we have a 0 alcohol cherry hibiscus seltzer. Let me get that vanilla bean lychee martini. Y'all know I love vanilla, so let me try that out. Now, with that being said, honey, I want to say this. The documentary left out a lot. And to be clear, you can never tell a full story in a 90-minute window. However, I feel like Netflix could have probably done this in parts. Y'all know how they broke down like that story about the girl that her mama was texting her, and they had like a 4-part. I feel like they could have done episodes of this, because I honestly feel like they could have done a whole episode on Mackenzie before the crash, like who she was. They could have talked about her school record, her relationship with her parents, her relationship with friends. They could have really dug deep into her relationship with Dominic. And then you could have done the actual crash, like all of the information about the crash, all of the data, the black box, the evidence, like the night before the crash, the day after the crash. And then you could have done like the trial. And you really could have done an episode after the trial. I feel like, one, because the parents and Mackenzie agreed to participate, I feel like the lawyers were involved, and maybe they made Netflix to take some things out or told Netflix they couldn't put some stuff in. Because there were some things that I think that I have found on the internet, valid information that I think is imperative to the story that they didn't tell us. And I just feel like if you're going to tell the story, tell the story. Now, some stuff is more salacious that wasn't in the court documents. And I'm okay with stuff that wasn't in the court documents not being included in the documentary. But I feel like the stuff that was included in the court documents, I kind of feel like we needed to know. But that's okay, because I'm here to tell you. What's up? Fedora said, my apologies. What's this documentary? It's called The Crash, and it's on Netflix. Just a brief synopsis for the people who didn't watch it or you just catching it. We did it live last night, so you can go back later and watch that. But just to give you a brief synopsis, it's about a young lady by the name of Mackenzie Shriller, who was driving a car that had her boyfriend and a friend of theirs in the car. And she was convicted of intentionally driving the car going 100 miles per hour into a brick wall. And as a result, the boyfriend and the friend did not make it. She did live. She was eventually convicted of second-degree murder on both counts and some other things. So some of the information that I found, it does not make Dominic look very good, and I hate to speak ill of the dead. However, if I'm gonna tell it, I'm gonna tell it. And this is stuff that I found on the internet from legitimate, like, police reports and stuff. I didn't fall into a lot of conspiracy theory type websites and stuff like that. I stuck to people who were reading from actual documents, people who were talking about what actually happened at trial, like legitimate sources, because there are a lot of theories out there, a lot of things out there that just aren't true. So I try to stay away from a lot of that. However, I found some shit. Now, the biggest bombshell, I'm going to hold that to the end, because there's a bombshell. And if you already know what it is, don't put it in the chat, please. Let me build up. Let me cook, okay? Let me cook. Don't put it in there, okay? Hold on. Let me cook. But I still need to go back and watch Mean Girls. I did not have time to watch that today, but I'm going to probably watch that later on today. So first of all, I'm going to just let y'all hear some of these TikToks that I found. And a couple of them are the jail calls. Remember how, if you watch the documentary, you know how at trial, she was sitting there crying the whole time, and she was just inconsolable, and she was just crying. And then when she was talking, when we heard her talking to her mom and talking to just her, talking, she sounded like, the all-American Midwestern, from Ohio girl. Well, baby, you hear her on these calls? Because people were trying to say that she had a black scent on the documentary, and like, oh, look how much jail has changed her. Look how she's talking. Listen to these phone calls from the day of the verdict. She sounded the exact same on these phone calls talking to her mother that she sounded on that documentary. When people were saying, oh, she got a black scent, she pretending. No, she wasn't. So I'm going to let y'all hear a few of these calls from the jail. Okay. And it's TikTok, so they're not long clips. Okay. So hold on.
I know, I remember that. Dom came to get me. Like later that day. I'm not talking about anything right now. Don't say anything about the call or anything. What do you mean? About your calls with Dom's calls, because they're listening to conversations. There has nothing to, it's not. What is that about saying Dom came to get me? Like, you're about to make me hang up and not talk to you. I'm already fucking here. Don't say that. I'm allowed to fucking say that. Dom came to get me. I'm allowed to talk about that. I'm allowed to talk about that. We don't talk about it anymore. I'm allowed to talk about it as much.
This is her talking to her mother. This is Mackenzie on the phone with her mother, and this is the day that the verdict was announced. So she just found out that she was convicted of unaliving her boyfriend and another friend. I put that in air quotes. And this is her on the phone with her mother. I'm gonna just let y'all hear it.
Because there's nothing to hide about it. I know there's not. Okay. I don't want to give them anything. Nothing. That's not giving them anything. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening? I'm confused. Like, is this, like, are you okay? Like, why can't I say that? Like, that has nothing to do with anything. I said anything more. I know you're irritated. You need nothing. There's nothing more. Kenzie, I'm going to hang up if you can't, because they're listening to everything. I don't care. I can listen to everything I say. You're irritated. Don't tell me to stop talking about something, because I'm just going to not stop talking about it ever. Never do that again.
She said, don't tell me to stop talking about something, because then I'm going to never stop talking about it. In other words, you tell me what to do, I'm going to do the opposite.
See, now this girl's just about to get to talking to herself again. Like, man, she about to piss me off. Like,
so the day of the conviction, they had her on the ward, the mental health ward. So she's talking about somebody that's talking next to her, that's talking to herself. But I guess because she was just convicted, I don't know if that's regular procedure, that when you're convicted of something like that, they take you to a space where, in case, maybe I don't think she was under any type of watch, but maybe they could just keep an eye on her to see how she's processing it or whatever. So they put her on a mental health floor. You're going to hear another call where she's like telling her mom, tell them to get me out of here. Tell them to get me out of here. But
are you there, or am I going to hang up the phone? I'm here. No, okay. I'm here. Okay. I will answer them when I talk. No, I didn't. What did they serve? I don't know. I refused it. It looked disgusting. Oh, sorry. Man, this girl is annoying as fuck. Oh my goodness. Why? What is she doing? Just talking to herself. She does this shit for like 5 minutes. Man. Is it the same one? Yes. I don't want to hear that shit. Man, she's not over there. She's not there. There's nobody there. Like, damn, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm about to get irritated as fuck. Why? Well, who's she calling? She's trying to call the staff, who's not even there. Man, she needs to go lay the fuck down. Is it the one that talks to herself all day? Yes. She just got moved over here, and, like, she's annoying as fuck. I need to...
Philly John, that's a good point that you're making. One of the podcasts that I listened to this morning, it said, and I'm going to get to that later. That's going to be, the podcast is going to be the last thing I talk about, because that's what I want to really talk to y'all about. But the podcast that I listened to, she was saying that there were reports in the hospital where she was cussing her parents out when she was in the hospital, telling her parents to leave, and they would leave. Like, she would tell them to get the fuck out, and they would actually leave. So yes, I think they are afraid of her. But you created that monster. You might be afraid of her now, but she didn't come out like that. You created this.
Like today. Well, she'll be calling me back. Hopefully soon. Oh my god. I'm about to get so irritated. Just try to shut down and keep to yourself. How can I shut down when I can't even get a quiet bit of mind, because this girl just talks to herself, and then she's right next to me. Like,
I'm gonna tell you the name of it in a minute. Give me a second, Philly. I'm gonna give you a minute.
I hear her right by me every single time, just calling the staff when she's not even fucking there. Yeah, baby. Yes, please tell them I don't want to be on protective custody. Please tell them that. Please tell them that. I don't know why.
That's her mother speaking that damn gibberish again. Y'all remember we talked about that last night. They do that a lot on these calls. And again, it's not Pig Latin specifically, but it's a type of Pig Latin that I think they've sort of created their own thing. I saw in one of the TikTok video, probably this video, in the comments, because baby, read the comments. In the comments, somebody in the comments broke down what they're doing. And they were saying something about the consonant. I don't care that much. But they broke down exactly what they're doing so you could try to decode it. The police were able to... the police were able to decode what her mother said to her in the hospital. So there's a way to decode it. But yeah, so you hear her talking in gibberish.
I am. I'm okay. Not keep that in mind. I know you haven't. I'm talking about.
And you'll in a couple of these calls, I'm gonna play you about 3 of these calls. In a couple of these calls, you hear her do it to her mom and her mom do it to her. And most of the time, they know exactly what they're saying to each other. There's one call where she's like, "What? What are you saying? What are you saying?" But I think she's just being a bitch in that moment. I think she understood her mother. I think she was just being a bitch. But anyway.
Not in general overall, please. Let me just, I listen to every single thing the staff says to me, like, I don't do shit. Easy reason to me, easy need to be done. What? Easy need to be done. Easy reason, easy done. Easy need to be done. Free dance, easy need to be done. Okay? I can't understand. So just don't.
I think she understood exactly what her mother was saying because 2 seconds earlier, you understood your mother. I think what your mother is telling you, you don't want to do because your mother was telling you, be nice to the guards because they're going to control how your day goes. And she don't want to hear that. So I think she understood exactly what her mother was saying.
Okay. I gotta see how much more time I have left. I'm trying to make up my hours.
Okay, so the rest of that call, she's basically talking about she don't have a lot more time left, and Mackenzie is begging her, like, well, Mom, I need to talk to you. Mom, I need to talk to you. So that's the rest of that phone call. And these are out of order. I'm sorry. They're out of order. So this is all from the same call the day that she was convicted, but they're not in any particular order. So
okay.
Actually, let me start. This one says part. Hold on. This one says part 2. So let me look at this one.
I could just really talk to you right now, but I'm scared to ask questions. Ask my mom. She will tell you everything. She knows the answer to everything. So Monday, you're gonna be finding out? Yeah, if I'm guilty or not. But I'm gonna be on the news again, so you will see too. Holy shit! Monday at 1:00, I'll be probably on the news again. Why are they so obsessed with your?
So this isn't a call with her mom. She's talking to somebody else, but she's talking to one of her friends. But I want y'all to hear what she just said a minute ago. Hold on, let me go back a little bit.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could just really talk to you right now, but I'm scared to ask questions. Ask my mom, she will tell you everything. She knows the answer to everything. So Monday.
She said, ask my mom. She knows everything. She knows the answer to everything. I'm gonna just keep going.
You're gonna be finding out? Yeah, if I'm guilty or not. But I'm gonna be on the news again, so you will see too. Holy shit! Monday at 1:00, I'll be probably on the news again. Why are they so obsessed with you? You've gotten a fucking car accident. I've gotten in 3 of those. It's probably just because my boyfriend's last name is Russo, and his family is just trying to do some weird shit. I don't know.
It can't be because you killed 2 people. It has to be because your boyfriend's last name. So I'm assuming that that Russo means something in their community. So she's making it seem like the police are out to get her because of who he was. So.
Mom. Yeah, they don't fuck with me no more. Even though after the car accident, I was hanging out with his family and stuff still, but then they just turned on me all of a sudden. So,
girl, they turned on you because the evidence started coming out. She said they turned on me all of a sudden, she don't know why. Girl.
The dad too. He'd be at court now, and I'm damn, didn't we literally go to dinner together, and didn't I come to Dom's birthday party after the crash, and I was with all you guys, and then y'all all just want to turn on me all of a sudden? That's just crazy to me, but they know I didn't do it on purpose. I just think that they're hurt, and they don't know how to grieve properly, which I understand. Not everyone understands, but that's what I think. It's really just the fact that they had so many strings that they could pull to even get you arrested in the first place. Yes, it is it's just I would understand if they gave me a normal charge, but the charges that they gave me are literally insane.
What's a normal charge, girl? 2 people are dead. Explain to me what you mean by if they gave me a normal charge. Okay, girl.
It's not. They're trying to make it seem something that it's not. It's not I didn't do this on purpose. I got in a car accident. I'm a 3rd victim. And they just think that it was all some like joke, and like then I was like, oh yeah, I just wanted to do this on purpose to the love of my life and a friend. Like that's the most dumb, crazy thing I ever heard in my life. Like he was the love of your life. Like you, every time I talked to you, I was with him. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I would never hurt him, like ever. And yeah, we argued, but like, what about the video? Like, man, they just tried to make it seem like I was like this like abusive girlfriend to him, but they didn't show anything he did to me, which is just so irritating. Yeah, there's always two sides. And even though you guys went through stuff, like every couple goes through stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like every couple fights, every couple has a toxic phase. So the fact that and your mom, she called me one day a while ago, and she called me to tell me your charges. And like Mackenzie, I was sitting on the toilet.
Okay, so that's pretty much that, child. So I'm gonna let y'all again. I have two more of the phone calls because there's some things I just want y'all to hear, and then we'll get into some of the other stuff I found. Okay, so this is another phone call. People angry like that. That's what I need in my life.
Okay, hold on a second. We can be. What? We are like that. We just can't be like that.
So this is another call where she's on the phone with her mother. This is the day she was convicted. That's her father in the background screaming and hollering, and he ready to cuss the judge out. The mama is the only one with a little bit of sense, because the mama is like, I need y'all to calm down. Like y'all, like they're recording these calls. Y'all can't be saying certain things on these calls. And the father and Mackenzie are like, we don't give a fuck. So I'm gonna let y'all hear this.
On the phone with you because they're listening. And I don't want to give anybody anything. I don't want to tell anybody. What did I say? Hey to them or what? Like, hey, bald head. Hey, tiny girl. Hey, Desi. Like, what's up? I don't want to tell them how we're doing. I don't want them to know that you have to poop. I don't want them to know that you're in a I don't want them to know fucking anything. They can know. I want to take a fetish shit and pretend it's on them. I want them to know anything. I don't even want them to know about how much he loved you and you loved him, because they're dirty and gross. I hate that all of our calls are recorded and that we don't get to have any intimate conversations about anything. I don't want them to know how you slept. I don't want them to know what you had for breakfast. I hate them. I don't want them to know anything. They can know everything, because I have nothing to fucking hide. Nothing to hide. They can know about my period. They can know all that shit. Hear your name. I don't want them to hear nothing. They don't deserve to know anything. So we are mad, and we are going to fight for you. I know. I need you guys doing that. I wish I could know. I'm going to try to see if I can get a private conversation after we get off this phone call. It's how we all sound when we're off the phone, talking to each other about this. You're better at keeping your composure than I have. Yes. Yeah, I'm going to Candy, okay? I know. I'm about to ask for a private call. Do you think they're going to give me more than like 40 years? Because I'm thinking yes. I'm thinking I'm getting life in prison. That's what I'm prepared for that. That's what I'm prepared for. Hold on a second. Diamond, can we get private calls here? Like with a social worker? How do I talk to my lawyer then without like it being like public? I don't have a lawyer yet though, right now. I fired my lawyer. I'm dead ass. It's not that you fired him, he's done.
Girl, you did not fire your lawyer. Your lawyer said I don't do appeals because you were just convicted. His job is done. Good, bad, or indifferent, his job is done. Girl, you did not fire that man. That man said, you need somebody, get somebody else to do it.
No, we fucking fired him. I don't give a fuck. He's fired. He's fired. No, he blew me bad as fuck. I don't. No, it's so hard not to be able to talk to you on the phone. Hold on. Just murder somebody. Murder A is just murder, like you kill someone on purpose. Murder B is when someone dies when you're doing another felony. And that's being colonial assault. So that's why I have murder B. Yeah, so that shit is just irritating as fuck. It's like they're acting like I killed like 85 people. Like I didn't kill nobody. Like.
Girl, you killed 2 people. You were driving the car that went into the wall. Even if it was an accident, which none of us believe that it was, and you were found guilty. But even if it really was an accident, you were still driving the car where 2 people died. You killed them. Ma'am? And does it have to be 85 people for it to be a crime? Is that what we... Wow.
You gotta keep up with my case when you go home. You can come to my court if you want. If you don't want to, I'm dead as fuck. We need you there. I'm dead as fuck. You funny as fuck.
Now she's on the phone with her mother having these conversations.
He's bald as fuck and shiny and has a roll in his neck. I have a girl and a boy and a detective against me. All right, Mom. I love you so much, Mom.
She talking about her attorney. He bald and shiny, or was she might be talking about the prosecutor. Either way, she talking about somebody. Girl.
Talk to you again. What time can I call you again? Like, call you my next time I come out? What time is that? I don't know. Maybe around.
All right. So it's one more I want y'all to hear. This is the one where I think her father's like in the background screaming and hollering.
Hey. Here's what I'm supposed to say. I know, Quincy, listen. These phone calls are recorded. We are not allowed to talk about anything. Well, we need a new lawyer is what we need. Not a new lawyer. We're going to file an appeal, okay? No, we need to get another lawyer. Look up. Yes, that is what it is. Okay? Don't worry about anything. Okay? I can't talk about anything on the phone, Pumpkin. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I can't talk about anything. Please don't say anything on the phone. It could ruin the appeal. Okay? I don't know.
This sounds like the beginning of the call because she's still halfway, but sort of like she's crying. So this sounds like the beginning of the call right now.
Oh, we're not done yet, okay? And I can't talk about anything. So just have trust in us, please. Okay? But I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. I did it. I thought it wasn't going to happen. I mean,
she thought it wasn't going to happen. She thought she was going home.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say I knew it.
You see how her mother switched up? Her mother was like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. And then when Mackenzie said, I didn't know it was going to happen, her mother said, well, I guess I shouldn't say I knew it. I'm like, what? God, who is in charge around here?
I had a feeling. I just had a feeling. Because I just can't say anything on the phone. And we don't even get to talk privately. So we'll just have to talk about it later. Okay? So I'm glad you're on the protective floor. Why? Okay? I just asked to get moved today. No, I talked to the warden this morning. It's not up to you.
Why are you talking to the warden like she's at school and you calling the principal? Pay attention to how many times she says, I talked to the warden.
Talk to the corporal. Oh, no. Well, she said it's not up to you. You got to stay. Okay, well, I asked to talk to the corporal. So. Oh, okay. Well, no, I did talk to the corporal. And? And I might do it. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, let me do it. Okay. But I love you, and just please trust us. Trust us. That's all I can say. Trust that we will never, ever, never stop. Ever, never. I don't want you guys to go broke fighting for me for a lost cause. We won't. It's not a lost cause, first of all. And we won't, Kenzie. We won't. I promise. And it's not a lost cause. Don't ever say that to Mama. Ever, never again. Okay? Everybody knows what's going on here. And then how she just was like, clearly she did this on purpose. Clearly. I know, like, Kenzie, we can't talk about anything. Please don't say anything else, please. Oh, look up, I think it's like Scott Ramsey. That's like a really good lawyer they told me about. I have a godmom in here now, so. You do? Oh. Yeah.
I have a godmom in here now.
Yes. She went home today, but I met her before I went to court, and she gave me a hug, and she's like, I'll be your godmom. She's like, look up Scott Ramsey. So I feel like that was a sign. Okay. Please don't talk about anything, no. Everything. I mean, they're listening to everything. Okay. So just breathe through this week, and we're gonna talk all the time. Okay? You know the routine, and we'll just keep fighting, and we're not gonna go broke, I promise. Okay? We just need to figure this out. And then, if we have to, move to be closer to you, then we'll move, and at least I don't have to drive by their house every dang day.
She said, and if we have to move to be closer to you so we can come see you every day. We'll move. And then at least I don't have to pass by their house every day. Whose house you don't want to drive past every day, ma'am? The family of the people your child killed. That's who house you don't want to go past anymore? Is it too inconvenient for you to drive past the house that belonged to the person that your child unalived? Is that the problem?
So that would actually be a plus for me. Miss Peggy texted me. Good. You know,
there was another one. I must not have saved that one. The one where her father is in the background yelling and screaming and acting a goddamn fool. Hold on. Let me see. I saved so many today. I thought I had saved that one. Maybe I didn't. Okay.
Okay, so TikTok.
Now, I'm not going to play this out. I just want y'all to see. I found this was her girlfriend. I'm going to just let y'all play. This was one of her girlfriends in jail.
I left off with her mad because I was asking about the case again. But I feel like anybody would. That piques your interest, especially when you're face to face with someone right there. That's like true crime, but you're the reporter, bro. You're right there, right in person. So I just stopped talking about it though, because she's about to walk away. So I'm like, all right, I gotta let it go for right now.
I'm not gonna play all of hers out because she really gets into the raunchiness of it and how they was rubbing on each other. And I don't care about none of that. But I just wanted y'all to see that was one of her girlfriends in jail, according to her. And she's got like a 10-part series on her relationship with Mackenzie. Okay. Gabby, thank you for being a member for 21 months. You said this is a mess. She acts like a privileged child and does. Now this I found. I want y'all. Hold on. Is this child? I found so much stuff.
Let's talk about the.
All right, this is Dominique's sister. She has a podcast and she went live to sort of talk about some stuff that she felt like wasn't on the Netflix documentary. So I'm gonna let y'all hear this.
Trying to think of like there's things that the world doesn't know, like why we know she's guilty. So when the crash first happened,
I hope I don't get flagged because they play music at the beginning of this, but I want y'all to hear this.
I thought it was an accident for a while. So did my dad, so did my sister. Now, granted, there's 7 siblings, so we were divided as to what, if it was.
Oh, no, she's out of jail. The girlfriend isn't in jail anymore. So she's out of jail. Mm-hmm.
An accident or not. And then some siblings knew other stuff. So Mackenzie's mom, so Natalie, actually, a couple of us thought it was an accident. Didn't want to believe it was murder right after the crash. Natalie Shirilla actually told us for it was like 3 or 4 days. She was telling me, my father, and my sister that Mackenzie was unconscious and had not woken up. So
the mama was lying to Dominique's family, saying she's unconscious, she's in a coma, she can't talk. Nobody's talked to her. Nobody knows what happened. She's unconscious in a coma. That girl was on TikTok. She was actually filming content from the hospital bed the day after the accident. She was on TikTok.
We're sitting there praying for her, crying. I was just as upset for her that I had lost my brother at that second. Okay. So for 3-4 days, as we're praying that she wakes up from this coma or, being on.
I'm pausing it every couple of seconds because I don't want to get flagged for this music. So I'm sorry, y'all. I want y'all to hear some of what she's saying.
Conscious, and she's going on and on about how she's going to tell Mackenzie Dom's gone and, praying that she wakes up. And come to find out, just a few hours after she killed my brother and Davion, she's in the hospital bed videoing herself making TikTok.
The other thing I found in one of the other videos is that she lied. Mackenzie, that is, lied and said that she was actually talking to Donovan, that he was conscious after the crash, and that he was talking to her. That's a lie. His neck was severed, which means that would have been instant. He died on impact. He didn't say anything to you, girl. Now, there may have been some involuntary, after you pass away, your body still may do some involuntary things, but a conversation is not one of them.
And her mother sat there next to her trying to get modeling gigs all over Instagram within hours after killing 2 people. So things like that. And it's like, why would you lie?
That's how you found out? You saw the social media post? And that's how you found out?
Yes, my cousin started telling us, I have a very large family, so with screenshots, and I'm like, something's not adding up. So then it's like, why, as soon as after the crash, they started corroborating their story and lying. And, I was like, why?
Maybe he was talking to the dear Maurice head. Shut up, Tracy.
Why would she lie about this? Why won't she let her talk? Or why would she say she wasn't awake? Now it makes sense now. Even when the police came to her, just to give her back her phone, she looked at the police officer. She looked at her mom. She said to her, "Can I just tell them that I had a seizure?"
And that was the gibberish that they were able to decipher.
So immediately it was storytelling, So
what did you think about the way her parents were portrayed or what they said in the documentary?
That is 100% them in real life. I've been with them. They were at my house after the crash. Like, I sat with them through the entire trial. That is how they are in real life. The dad has been very aggressive towards me, in hearings and things like that. And he shouts out certain things when it's not appropriate. Like, they don't care about us grieving families. It's like there's no remorse or no guiltiness or I don't know. I would feel if my children, knock on wood, God forbid, hurt 2 other people like that, and if it was an accident, like they say, I would be sending them flowers and baskets of fruit every week, or letters. I still wait for letters in the mail sometimes with an apology or something, and it never happened. It's like they don't care. So that is from the documentary. That's really how they are in real life.
When was the last time you had contact with them?
As soon as she was arrested. So November 4th, 2022 was the last time. As soon as she was arrested, never heard from them again.
Steve has been placed on administrative leave from his job after the documentary. What do you think about that?
I think the whole thing in general, that my brother is gone and Davion are gone. I think the whole thing is sad. So when I first heard, I felt absolutely terrible. Life shouldn't be like this. Dom and Davion should be here. She belongs in prison. But to me, it's like, I wish she wasn't born that way. I don't know if it was nature versus nurture.
Now, I did find this, y'all. Listen, I'm just going to show y'all. And I found a lot of stuff. This is just the highlight of the stuff. Because again, I'm going to get to this. I'm going to tell y'all what podcast it is in a minute. Because I want y'all to go hear it for yourself. I found this.
I'm Steve Sherilla. I'm the art teacher here at Mary Queen of Peace. I started as a sub in 2019. And in 2020, I was hired full-time as the art teacher here at the school. This is my first classroom. This is my first teaching job. I've done a little subbing over the years, but this is my first full-time, my classroom. I went to Ohio University. I got my BFA in graphic design. I received that back in 1990. So I'm a little...
Sorry.
A little slow start in doing teaching. I got my teaching certificate from Baldwin Wallace. And that's basically my education. Other than that, I've got 25 years experience working in television as a graphic designer. I've won Emmys. I've got Pro Mexico medallions. They're like Oscars for promotion in art and TV. I'm married. I've got 2 daughters, teenage daughters. I've got a lot of goofy hobbies. I race slot cars. I collect comic books. I collect Hot Wheels. I'm a 12-year-old at heart. So, which makes me, I guess, good with all your kids. My favorite.
Which is why you wanted to be your child's friend, because you really feel like you're a child at heart. You feel like you're still a child. So that's why you were trying to be friends with your child. I'm not doxing this man. He posted this on social media telling all his business. This is his video. I don't know if this was on the school's website or whatever, but this was public information before somebody be like, why you put that information up there with him telling what school he works at? He put it out there. This is his video on his social media. Okay.
Favorite thing about teaching is the kids. I feel like I relate to them. I can talk to them. I come in, I ask them how their weekend is. They ask me how my weekend is. So I get a good rapport with the students, and I guess that's me in a nutshell. I'm your art teacher, or I could be your art teacher. We have a lot of fun.
Now, what I find interesting is that you are a whole teacher, but you walk into the school as if all the teachers and the administration are lying on your child. Yeah, right. He don't work there no more anyway. Right, Tracy. He don't work there no more anyway. But I was like, most of the time, teachers generally are a little more like, we get it. Or at least know the right questions to ask. Because again, I'm not saying that every teacher is right and every child is wrong, but at least as a teacher, you at least know what questions to ask. You know what buzzwords to like. You know what I'm saying? You don't just walk into a school and be like, "Oh yeah, I know that's what happened." You kind of can figure it out because you know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying. So for the people who were like, her dad is a teacher, but so it looks like he's done other things. He's sort of teaching is sort of his second act. And it sounds like he did some other things first. So, all right. So there's that. I think hold on. I think I have 2 more TikToks to show y'all before we get into this documentary. Let me see.
Obviously, I am in a full tailspin right now.
Okay, that's not the one I want to show y'all. Hold on.
Continue to canvass for evidence. They get cell phone records.
So this is what y'all were telling me last night about her doing a dry run. Why was this not included in the documentary? So I'm going to let y'all hear this.
What was retrieved from Mackenzie's phone was a GPS hit literally at that intersection of the impact site, indicating that at least her cell phone had been there just 3 days before the crash.
And the question is, why would she be there? It's not near her home. She doesn't work there. It's in the middle of an industrial park, an office park. And yet there she is driving this same path.
To investigators, it looks like a dry run.
Mackenzie knew that street. I believe she knew exactly what she was going to do when she turned on to Progress. And I think that most likely that night, Dominic told Mackenzie he was leaving. Mackenzie is not used to being told no. She gets her way, or something is going to happen. She did this on purpose.
Just continue to.
They said that she drove that route 7 times. She drove that same route 7 times before the night of the accident. It's not near her house. It's not near the house that they were leaving from. It's nowhere near where they were going that morning. It's nowhere near anything that she has a connection to in her regular day-to-day life. Why was she there 7 times? Now that's one of the things y'all were telling me about yesterday, and I was like, "Yeah, you're right." You know, I didn't know that, and I think that's on the Mean Girls documentary. So I have to go and watch that one, the Mean Girls documentary. Okay, I gotta
canvas for evidence.
I only have like 2 more, y'all, and then we're gonna get into the podcast that I really want to share with y'all. Hold on, let me make sure I got everything. What's this one right here?
Rosie Graham is now sharing a statement following her appearance.
Now, Rosie Graham is the one that was said she was the best friend, that the prosecutor was like, "Oh, well, I'm glad Netflix got you to talk because you wouldn't talk to us." So she's a big influencer on TikTok. Like, she's got hundreds of thousands of followers, although I heard she's losing a lot of followers. Like, after this documentary, she done lost a lot of followers. She done turned her comments off and everything. But she did post a statement, so I wanted y'all to hear a little bit of what she had to say. It was on her TikTok.
Rosie Graham is now sharing a statement following her appearance on the Netflix documentary, The Crash. Documentary centers around Mackenzie Shirilla and the fact that she killed 2 people driving 100 miles per hour and crashing into a building. One of the reasons why watchers have been giving her so much backlash is because during the documentary, she mentions not wanting to cooperate with the authorities. It's wild that she would have a conversation with Netflix, but not the authorities. And this is what she's saying in her TikTok story that has now expired. She says, I know a lot of people have questions, so I just want to clear a few things up respectfully. Prior to the trial, I did speak with the prosecution, answered every question I was asked, and made it clear that I was willing to testify and cooperate in any way needed. I also want to address the inclusion of my social media in the documentary. I never wanted followers, views, or personal attention connected to such a serious situation.
So first of all, I'm going to call bullshit on that, because one of the things that you said in the documentary was, well, when I first met Mackenzie, I had about 200,000 more subscribers than she did. Why would you bring up your social media and your number of subscribers if you didn't want people to know about? Yeah, okay.
Specifically expressed to the directors that I did not want that aspect included. Also says my interview lasted over 8 hours and I had no control over what portions would ultimately make the final cut. At no point was my intention to pick sides, defend anyone, or make light of the seriousness of the case.
Again, I call bullshit, because everything you said, and I get it that you talked to them for 8 hours and they included what they wanted to include. However, everything that they included was you defending Mackenzie, talking about how great Mackenzie was, talking about how much Mackenzie loved Dom, talking about Dom and Mackenzie, they had this great relationship. I mean, sure, they argue, but all couples argue. Girl, you totally downplayed everything. And now I'm starting to feel like, based on the information I've come across in the last couple of hours, in the documentary, she said that when they left the house that night, well, that morning, everything was cool. Everybody was getting along. Everybody was happy. I don't believe that now. I believe that Dominique and Mackenzie probably were beefing, because according to text messages and conversations, Mackenzie woke up and Dominique wasn't. She was laying on the couch sleep, and when she woke up, Dominique wasn't there. And she texted her mom that Dominique wasn't laying here when I woke up, and I don't know where he was. Well, when you kind of hear about her and their relationship and how volatile she could be, I feel like that could have been the beginning of an argument. So I'm not necessarily believing that they were all good when they left your house that morning. And remember, Donovan wasn't even supposed to be in the car with them. Donovan was supposed to be riding with Bubba. But Donovan, and according to one person's theory, they feel like maybe he got in the car to try to mediate the situation to get everybody to calm down.
Answering the questions I was asked based on my experience, knowledge, and what I personally witnessed. These are the true examples of what I feel is a documentary pushing a narrative without providing my full explanation. What do you guys think of her statement? Let me know your thoughts in the.
And then she also said that she fully participated with the police, but the DA said, he said in the documentary, I can't tell you how many times I called her. Her and Landon did not participate. And according to the documentary, the podcast that I listened to this morning that we're about to talk about in a minute, the parents told them not to participate. The parents actually reached out to Mackenzie's friends and told them not to participate with the authorities. That's what they said.
This time, police managed to gain access to her phone. What they uncovered didn't just explain her mysterious source of income, it also hinted at something far.
Okay, that's what we're going to talk about in a minute, so I don't want to get into that. Okay, this is what Tracy was talking about. This is the last one, and then we're going to get into the the podcast. This is what Tracy was talking about last night that talked about her infractions while she's been in jail. So this is also someone who was formerly in jail with Mackenzie. Y'all can follow her as well.
Let's look at Mackenzie.
Her name is Kat Crowder. She was actually at the jail with Mackenzie. She's getting ready to break down all of Mackenzie's infractions and explain what it means, because she was there with her.
Was disciplinary infractions, and I'm going to tell you what they probably are for and what they mean from somebody who was in prison with her and was at that prison and has a pretty good understanding of these write-ups. May 16, 2024, she got written up for being out of place. Now that can be for a couple things. She either was not where she needed to be for count time, which happens 3 times a day, or she was in somebody else's dorm or unit, and usually that's not for a good reason. September 4th, 2024, stealing or embezzlement of property. Exactly that. I heard that she stole some beads from the bead room in her unit, which got her moved to another unit. All alleged.
Now, somebody would say, why is she stealing beads? Okay, so, because I'm not going to play every video I found, y'all. We be here until tomorrow. But one of the videos said that is her hustle in jail, that she's making jewelry and she's selling it. And like, she's telling people to send the money to her mom, like Cash App my mom. So it makes sense that she was stealing beads because they said that her parents have bought her like the little kits, because I guess you could buy the kits in the commissary. But if she's using that as her business, maybe she ran out of beads. Okay.
She was also written up for possession of contraband, including altered items. So she took something and either hemmed it to be more form-fitting, or she just messed around with something that was state issued. October 19th, 2024, possession of property of another incarcerated person. So she stole something from somebody. Or she had somebody's TV that had their name engraved on the back that a lot of people sell before they leave prison. And another contraband ticket. 11/11/2024, another contraband of altered items ticket. 2 days after that, on the 13th of November, disturbance of a direct order. So the COs were telling her to do something, and she basically said, as well as destruction, alteration, or misuse of property. Exactly that. On November 16th and November 30th, she got 2 more being out of place tickets. And then on December 10th of 2024, she got a disturbance of a direct order again, and another being out of place ticket. January 16th of 2025, she had a misuse of authorized medication. So she had some prescription that she was hoarding, and they found it on her. She either was or selling it or whatever, alleged. And another contraband ticket. She managed to stay out of trouble for the next 3 months, and on April 29th, she got a violation of visitation, including video visits. So something happened, either in a video visit or a real visitation, that was not allowed. I wonder who it was that was visiting her. The next day, Mackenzie got a sexual harassment ticket, disturbance of a direct order, and possession of contraband. Should I say more? May 1st, we've got a possession of contraband. July 15th, 2025, being out of place. 4 days later, she got an encouraging or creating a disturbance. So she was being reckless or egging somebody on to be reckless and obnoxious. July 23rd, being out of place. And to end this, on August 1st of 2025, she got a sexual conduct. Consensual, though. Needless to say, this is not the Mackenzie that I was in prison with. She was not doing any of this. She would be too scared. So prison's really gotten to her. All of these out-of-place tickets are probably her being in her little boo's dorm that's not her dorm. So, and I want to know what all this contraband is. It can be from something really minuscule to something really crazy. All of this will be brought up at her parole hearing. And that's not a good look. That's a lot of write-ups to get in a short amount of time. Let's just get that established. Just crazy. Let's look at Mackenzie.
So somebody said, what is she in jail for? She did a video explaining what she was in jail for. Make a long story short, child, she went on a high-speed chase with the cops following her, and she had drugs and weapons in the car. She was with some people, and they was going up to Detroit to do something they need to be doing. And they were going from Nashville to Detroit, and they stopped in Ohio to get gas. And I don't know why the police pulled them over, but the police did. And she was driving, and she was running from the police. And she said, ironically, I actually was in a car crash as well, running from the police. She tells her story. She also talks about how Mackenzie is actually on those sugar daddy sites. So some of that visitation stuff might be a visit. Maybe she's gonna be on Love After Lockup. I don't know. But they said she's on those same sugar daddy sites that a lot of the inmates get guys to pay for them and take care of them. The Gypsy Rose, the same one that Gypsy Rose was on. So she talks a little bit about that. Again, y'all can find her. She's Kat, K-A-T, Crowder, C-R-O-W-D-E-R on TikTok. And she's got a lot of it. I mean, she's got videos about other stuff too. But if you go, her last probably 10 to 15 videos are dealing with this for obvious reasons. She was there with her. So she's telling her experience and all of that. Now, let's get into this podcast. I'm gonna tell you the name of it. The name of the podcast is called hold on. It's called Serialously. Serialously. That's what it looks like on if you just get a podcast of it on if you listen to it on the podcast, but she's also on YouTube. So if you want to follow it on YouTube, look up you could type that in, because that's how I found it on YouTube. You could type that in, but her name is Emma. What's that lady's name? Emma something. I'm sorry, not Emma, Lord. I'd have made up a whole name for her. Annie Elise. ANNIEELISE. Tracy, can you put that link in the chat for me, please? Can you find her YouTube? It's, again, I'll spell it again. SERIALOUSLY. That's what it is. And again, you can find that on the podcast. And she does serial killer, like it's a true crime podcast. So she did a podcast. Oh, that's the other thing before I get into this. She was not invited to Dominic's funeral. The mama said, you can't come to the funeral. You are not allowed. You are not invited. You can't come to the funeral. That's what the mama said. She was obsessed with getting her stuff out of Dominic's house. She kept saying, my purse is there, my ID. I need to get my stuff. I need to get my stuff. I need to get my stuff. And the mom was like, I'll pack your stuff up and I'll get it to you. And she was like, no, I need to get inside of the house so I can get my stuff. And the mom was like, you can't come inside of his house. And what I believe is there was probably something in that house that she was trying to get, that she didn't want to tell nobody what was in there. Now, I don't know that to be true, but that's how I feel. I feel like it was more than just her trying, because she was like, no, I need to get in there. You're not going to know it. You're not going to know what it is. I need to get in there. I need to get in there. And the mama was like, no. So then she tried to text his brother, Angelo. And in one of the calls I listened to, the first thing out her mouth when she got on the phone with her mother was, fuck Angelo. Why would he say that? So I guess Angelo testified and said some shit. Okay. But she texted Angelo and she said, hey, Angelo, I don't know if you hate me, but tomorrow for the funeral, would you be able to go in Dom's room and grab some photos from his desk for me and him so I could put them into the casket so he can be with me forever? So he never responded. So she texted him back and was like, please let me know. He never responded. So then she texted. So that was on August the 6th, the day of the funeral, or the day before the funeral. So then on August the 23rd, she texted him and said, hey, Angelo, I just want to say I'm so sorry. I know you probably think this is all my fault, and I'm not asking you to feel bad for me, but I just want to say I'm so sorry, and I know you miss him so much. I wish he was here. I wish he was here too. This should have never happened. He loves you so much. And I know you know that. I don't even know what to say. I can just feel so bad. He never responds. So then she texted him back in October, like right before she got arrested, and was like, hey, can we talk? He never responds to any of her text messages. at least not one here. So this is why I always say Instagram famous people are just crazy, delusional, attention seeker who got lucky. Every day TMZ has a headline: famous influencer commits murder. Child. So let's get into. So she did a podcast. She did a 2-part. She did a review of the podcast. She did. So this lady right here, Annie Elise, she actually did the podcast way back when this story first broke. And she was like, at the time, I had more information that was released to the public. People had kind of given her stuff. So it was a lot of stuff she couldn't really say. Because remember in the beginning, Mackenzie was charged as a juvenile because she was 17. So in the beginning, a lot of information wasn't released. So then after they changed it and charged her as an adult, that's when a lot of the information started coming out. So she was like, I needed to go back to my notes. Now that I've watched the documentary, I need to go back to my notes. So she did part 1 was basically her just reviewing the documentary, playing a lot of the court stuff. If you watch the documentary, you really don't need to listen to part 1. It's part 2. So part 2 is called The 5 Biggest Things. Hold on, let me pull it up. Child. Yeah, it's called The 5 Biggest
for money.
It's called The 5 Biggest Things. Damn it, YouTube. That Netflix left out of the crash. So let's do it. Let's go back. So I got my little timestamps. It's about a 44-minute long episode, but we don't need to listen to all 40 minutes. It's a couple of things I just want y'all to listen to. And I got my timestamp. So let me go to my first timestamp. Hold on. My first timestamp. Okay. Okay, first timestamp.
2 officers responded to the room where Shirilla was being treated because she was being combative. The officers stood by and they didn't take any action. Printout was added, all these things.
So I'm sorry, I should have went back a little bit further. The day of the funeral, she was still in the hospital. The day of Dominique's funeral, she was still in the hospital. Even though Dominique's mother told her, you are not invited. I do not want you to come to this funeral. Let me go back a little bit. She was in the hospital throwing a fit to get to this funeral. Hold on.
And psych was called because she was nearly signed herself out AMA against medical, like a dog with a bone, and would not let it go. Then the following day, on the 6th of August, so now 7 days technically after the crash, her mom called the police and she reported that there were mean people on social media who were blaming Mackenzie for the crash and alleging that she had killed Dom on purpose. So again, more.
I went back a little bit too far, but her mother actually called the police because people were being mean to her on social media. But anyway,
like, what's the public's reaction going to be? Now calling the police, being like, they're blaming my daughter all over social media. They're saying that she did it on purpose. They're blaming her. Just once again, like, read the room. Read the room right now, given the situation. The following day, it was set to be one of the services, the service for Dom. And apparently Mackenzie was being very combative in the hospital. She wanted to attend this funeral. They advised her, you are not well enough. You can FaceTime in. It's not a good idea. But she was so determined that she nearly signed herself out AMA against medical advice. It was so combative, as a matter of fact, in the hospital that officers ended up being called and dispatched to the hospital. They didn't have to restrain her or do anything like that. The nurse was able to talk her into staying, but she became very combative. Officers ended up being called. And that kind of takes me back.
So that leads into something else, which we talked about last night, because somebody asked me last night, basically, why would she take that risk? If, and I said, I think she was trying to do a murder-suicide. I don't think she intended to walk away from that crash. Well, let's listen to this little bit of information, because this is something to hear her parents and her friends tell the story. It was the total opposite.
To a different incident when officers were called on Mackenzie. Because in this police report, and let me pull this up, it was from back in 2020, so a little bit, a year or so before the crash, and psych was called to her house because she was threatening to take her own life, which, if you remember...
So a year before the crash, her parents called the police to come to the house because she was threatening to unalive herself.
In the documentary, her friends, her parents, they say she never had those ideations. She was happy. She was great. She had a beautiful life. But the cops were called and psych was called because she was making threats. And let me go here. It said, back here from the hospital room, it said, 2 officers responded to the room where Sharilla was being treated because she was being combative. The officers stood by and they didn't take any action. Printout was added, all of these things. Female will not be... So then here is the 2020 incident. It says the call was psych-related. They requested assistance from SPD. Mackenzie was reportedly threatening self-harm. She was, and the whole world, like, she was threatening to take her own life. I'm just trying to censor the S word on here because YouTube likes to flag me. She was not transported for an evaluation. During the call, SFD requested the SPD officers respond. So the fire department requesting that the police department respond, but no reason was given. The following disposition was then entered by the dispatcher into the call. It says, female will not be transported to the hospital. Parents do not think that her threats are real. They do not believe that she will hurt herself. So there is, in fact, a history.
So you mean to tell me that as your parent, you felt it was serious enough to call the police, but when the police and the services, the mental health services showed up and they recommended that she be transported to the hospital, now you're saying, oh, we don't think she meant it. We don't think it was serious. What I also found, and I don't know if we're going to hear this, so let me just say this right here. What I also found was she had been on antidepressants since middle school, which means that somebody somewhere thought she needed some help for something. They said she had been on antidepressants since middle school and that she had stopped taking them. But the parent says she's never had these sort of ideations. We've never had an issue. She's never had these issues. Ma'am, you were filling a prescription every month for her for years. Middle school to high school. Years. Not a couple of months. Years. Okay, let me go to my next timestamp, honey. Let me go to my next timestamp. Okay, let's go here. 17. Oop, opened up the wrong thing. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to start a little bit before my timestamp this time.
Owned your asses. She owned you hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, this is what she's talking about, how Mackenzie talks to her parents. So I'm going to go back a little bit more.
Commands, doing things like that. This is not a typical 17-year-old girl who has rules, a curfew, anything like that. She has entitlement. And her parents, in my opinion, enabled the entire thing. They're not yelling at her. They're not here when she yelled at her dad and said, "Get out of my room." Da-da-da. He left. He scurried out of the hospital room like a little fucking pussy. Like, it's absolutely mind-boggling. Then when the parents start talking to the police, "Don't talk to them without me." She is the, grown up apparently in this situation. It's unbelievable. Meanwhile, remember how, if you watch the documentary, how her parents, again, were saying she was a good kid. She was responsible. We had nothing to worry about. No, she owned your asses. She owned you hook, line, and sinker and got away with murder, not A pun, not an expression, literally. Well, I guess she didn't get away with it because she's locked up, but you get what I mean. So now let's get into this part, because in this police report, her dad said that Mackenzie did this intentionally. And I actually am going to just read.
So I'm going to pause right there because I want y'all to understand what we about to hear. In the police report, and I guess this wasn't admitted into court because it was hearsay, I guess. But in the police report, the father actually said to a police officer, she did this on purpose. I'm going to let y'all hear it, though. And she's actually reading from documents. This isn't a theory. She's reading from police reports. Remember, everything that happens doesn't necessarily get admitted into the trial. And I feel like Netflix stayed with what got admitted into trial. Not everything. But this did not get admitted into the trial, which is why Netflix probably didn't touch it. But this is in an actual police report. So I'm going to let y'all hear it.
This for you verbatim. So it says, according to both officers, Metro Health Police Sergeant Adam Doyle asked them about the status of this investigation. Sergeant Doyle further added that during Mackenzie's stay at Metro Health, her father told Sergeant Doyle that Mackenzie intentionally drove her vehicle into the building in an attempt to take her own life. Sergeant Doyle's statement, though, was not documented in the only MHPD report that I was able to obtain involving Mackenzie. And I'm going to read this page for you as well. It says that Sergeant Doyle proceeded to recount the incident with Steve Shirilla on the day that Mackenzie was trying to leave the hospital to presumably attend Dom's funeral. Remember when she was getting super combative, she was trying to leave, they had to call the officers in. Sergeant Doyle said, quote, Mr. Shirilla stated to him that they had to keep her in the hospital because she's already tried to kill herself and she killed those two boys. Now, why this little tidbit wasn't entered into Netflix, I don't know. Maybe because it was recollection and it wasn't entered into an official police report. I have no idea. But I think that that's pretty major, right?
So the father said on 2 separate occasions that this was on purpose. 2 separate occasions. Now, again, I'm sure the prosecution tried to get that put in, but it didn't get into the court record. Probably, again, because it was hearsay. It wasn't part of an official interview, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what all the legal back and forth was behind the scenes as to why this was not admitted into evidence, but this was not admitted into evidence. But it is in the record. She's reading from the record. Now, something else that happened, I'm going to tell y'all this because it's going to come into play with something I'm about to tell y'all in a few minutes. When Mackenzie first went to the hospital, they wouldn't let her talk to the police, but they did let the police take her phone, right? Now, Mackenzie, the mom kept asking for the phone back, saying she needed to get a password off of Mackenzie's Snapchat. She needed to get a password off of Mackenzie's Snapchat. It was something she needed. It was information. She kept saying off of Mackenzie's Snapchat, off of her Snapchat, off of her Snapchat. That's important. I'm going to come back around to that in a second. I just need y'all to put that in y'all back pocket, okay? Put it in y'all back pocket. So now we have heard on the jail call with Mackenzie telling her friend, ask my mom anything. She knows everything. And now we have the father on 2 separate occasions saying, yes, she did this on purpose. Yes, she killed those boys. 2 separate occasions. Which makes the parents' defense of her even worse. The defense was already bad enough. It was already bad enough because it's like, yes, that's your child, but at a certain point, pump the brakes. But now we have documented utterances from the father saying he knows that it happened on purpose. That makes it even worse. And I'm not a parent, so I certainly don't understand the love of something you created. Like, y'all know I love my nieces and my nephews to death. Y'all know I love them to death. But it's not the same as carrying a child or excuse me, my DNA being a part of that child. I get that. But there's got to be a point where you say, I love you, but I can't go down this road with you. I love you. But this, I can't. There's a difference in support and just plain out fucking denial. But let me go to my next timestamp, honey. Let me go to my next timestamp. Hold on. I think I got 2 more timestamps. Hold on. Let me make sure. Is that my next timestamp? Okay, I got this. My next timestamp, and then I got one more. The last timestamp, I think that's the doozy. That's the doozy. Hold on, Tracy, because I know you know what it is. Just hold on. Put it in your back pocket. Hold on, girl. Hold on. Let me go to my next timestamp. And again, y'all can go. I put the link. Tracy put the link in the chat. So y'all can go listen to the whole 45 minutes. But I just didn't want to listen. Y'all know how I'm about playing other people's stuff. I'm not going to do the whole 45 minutes. But let me go to my next timestamp. Hold on. All right. I'm going to go a little bit. I always seem like I'm going back a little bit. So I'm going to start a little bit earlier than my timestamp and see where I am. Okay.
Gets picked up. Mackenzie then texts Dom's mom saying, "Can you come get Dom? He just grabbed my steering wheel on the highway. He's trying to spin out my car and hurt me."
Oh, she's talking about those text messages from the incident that happened a few weeks before the crash, where Dom called his mom and was like, "Come and get me. She's driving crazy." And then this is her messages to Dom's mom. But remember, we talked about this last night. Those messages came way later that night. It's almost like she was trying to cover her tracks. It wasn't in real time. But put a pin in that real quick. The other thing I found in the rabbit hole is that everybody talked about Mackenzie's driving, including Rosie, her AKA best friend on the documentary. Even Rosie said, "Don't get no car with her. It's not good." Like, everybody talked about how bad she drove, how frantic she drove. They talked about how fast she drove. They said sometimes she even drove with her left foot, going 100 miles an hour with her left foot. Now, why people kept getting in the fucking car with her, I don't know. That's another conversation for another day. But they said, allegedly, according to all of her friends, including Rosie and Bubba, the girl's driving was erratic and it was out of control. And she would do that 100 miles an hour all the fucking time. Right. No one wanted to ride with her. So that's another thing that make me feel like, but we're going to get to it. Because the other thing that came up is that Mackenzie actually, before Dom got his own place, Mackenzie actually lived with Dom at his parents' house, which again lets me know that that was before she graduated. The parents lied about that. But now I'm side-eyeing all y'all asses, because why y'all letting that 17-year-old, well, at the time she wasn't 17, probably 16-year-old child live in your home? So I got to side-eye Dom's parents too in this. Again, that doesn't mean that they deserve for this to happen to them, but I gotta question y'all's parenting too. But let me let y'all hear this.
There's more and more texts, and she said, "He lied to you about it. I can't calm down when he just tried to end my life," which, in my opinion, and look, gaslighting happens on both sides. And
I saw the school bus video. Again, like I said, if I showed y'all every video I found today, but yeah, there was a video where she was mad at the school bus for stopping and dropping kids off. And she was cussing and blowing her horn and shit. Yeah, she's... My
opinion, we know that their relationship was extremely toxic. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of breaking up, a lot of hatred. He cheated on her. They were breaking up and getting back together every other week, right? Even though Rosie said it wasn't like that. It was, according to all of the friends and, 180 pages or 518 pages of this police report. But I think that she was so desperate because she also did have a connection with Dom's mom. They talked regularly. I think she was just trying to make sure that she wasn't, that the perception was that she wasn't the aggressor in this. I think this was all a manipulation tactic, being like, he lied to you about it. It was really him. Well, that completely is contradicted by his tone of voice when he called his mom. What the friend heard you say in the car when Dom called him. But once again, friends also were quoted in these police reports saying that she, quote, threatened taking her own life all the time. And one friend even said, it's all the times that she threatened suicide.
So again, going back to when we had that conversation last night, why would she do this? She threatened to do it all the time. Now, whether she meant it or not, I can't speak to that. I can only go by her words. And allegedly her words are, she threatened it all the time.
Mackenzie was also on antidepressants since middle school, but she reportedly stopped taking them because she didn't like the way that they made her feel. So could that be a contributing factor to her aggression, to her anger, to her ideations? Certainly possible, right? Another thing that I thought was really interesting, in addition to everybody saying that she has threatened self-harm and also has threatened to crash the car while Dom's in the car with her and all of these things, she sped all the time. She was a horrifically reckless driver. We already went through some of the friends saying how they would never get in a car with her. They knew better. They advised other friends never to get in a car with her, that she was just a bad driver. She also, though, would record herself on Snapchat multiple times going over 90 miles per hour. Some even 100 miles per hour with her left foot. So constantly pushing the boundaries and taking chances. It's not like this was a one-time thing. And again,
okay, so let me get to my last timestamp, but let me lay the foundation before we get there. We talked about last night. I told y'all last night that I suspected that Dom was a UGG dealer. Okay. Remember, I said that because of certain things that were said and how they said the boy always had money. Now, his family has money, not allegedly, but according to his family has money. But some of those text messages, and even the night of the accident, the night before the accident, I should say, there were text messages where Rosie was asking if they could buy some Uggs off of Mackenzie and Dom. I fully believe, and this is my opinion, don't nobody come and sue me. And no, I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, but it is, we talking about it, we're going to talk about it. I honestly think that they were doing, that there was some dealing. Now, again, am I saying he was El Chapo? I'm absolutely not. I'm not saying it was that deep. But I am saying that I feel like there was some dealing going on, and it was well established that Mackenzie and Dom would bring the party favors, if y'all understand what I'm saying. Okay? Right. Listen, don't nobody walk around with no scale unless y'all know. Okay, we talked about that last night. But it gets deeper. And this is my last timestamp. Y'all, I didn't even see this one coming. This is what made me say, oh, I got to come back live and talk to y'all about it. So let me let y'all, I'm going to my last timestamp. And again, y'all can go and listen to this whole episode on her podcast. I dropped the link earlier. I'll even put the link in the description box. I got to remember to do that. But let me go to my last timestamp. Okay. Again, I'm starting a little bit earlier than my timestamp because I'm going to let y'all hear it. Okay.
Through Snapchat history. And as they were looking through her app. But
remember what I told y'all about her mama trying to get her phone back from the police, and her mama kept saying she had to get something off Snapchat. She had to get something off the Snapchat. She kept telling the police she had to get something from that girl's Snapchat. Listen.
See anything about that? How just, a little over a month later, she's out partying. It doesn't show remorse to me. It doesn't, and I get it. You move on with your life at some point, but I don't know, a month and a half after this horrific accident when you were in the hospital for a big chunk of that too. It's like, really? Really? And now I want to get into the alleged sex offenses. And I want to read this verbatim because I don't want to have anything that gets, misinterpreted or room for error or anything like that. But it seems as they were looking through Snapchat history and as they were looking through her apps, investigators discovered that she was receiving quite a bit of money through Cash App, which could have been substance dealing, obviously. But then there were also photos that were reportedly being exchanged on Snapchat from her to other users in exchange for money. This is all alleged.
She's saying that real nice, but y'all understand what she just said. There was a lot of cash going through her Cash App. And what the investigators found on her phone was that she was getting money in exchange for pictures. But wait, there's more.
Okay. But I'm
it's all
going to read to you what was in, the report here. So it says, the purpose of the investigation into suspected sex offenses committed by Mackenzie was for the purpose of confirming or dispelling the possibility of her having been victimized and forced into committing unwanted acts. Detective Glover and I reviewed approximately 31,000 pages of material containing
31,000 pages of material.
93,000 text message exchanges between Mackenzie and Dom beginning January 2020 until July 30th, 2022. The messages were obtained pursuant to the search warrant for Mackenzie's cell phone. Messages indicated that Mackenzie voluntarily engaged in suspected sex acts with other people, likely in exchange for monetary value, without being forced to commit those acts. So, meaning Dom wasn't the one facilitating all of this. She did this on her own, kind of like an OnlyFans, but through Snapchat, sending videos, photos, getting money in return. However, this
sending videos, photos, getting money in return via Snapchat. Why was her mama so concerned about getting that girl phone? And what was on the Snapchat that the mama knew about? And I'm not saying the mama knew about this. I'm just saying it's real suspicious. It's real suspicious. But wait. Oh, I'm not done. There's more.
There's a point of contention in her and Dom's relationship. Here's some text messages I'm going to read to you. This one's from January 25th, 2022. So, 6 months before the crash. Mackenzie wrote to Dom, "You realize I'm just going to get a sugar daddy and start selling."
These are actual text messages that she's reading. She's not making this up. She's not paraphrasing. These are actual text messages. So I'm going to let it replay.
Feet pics, and I'm going to be doing just fine. So this is really your last chance to handwrite me an apology or fix this, or we're really done. Then in another text thread on March 5th, 2022, Dom wrote to her, "Yeah, you let a dude fuck your feet for money like 6 months ago." Mackenzie replied,
she said, "I'm just going to get me a sugar daddy and I'm going to send him some feet pics and I'll be all right. So this is your last chance to make things good with me or we're done." He said, yeah, because like 6 months ago, you let a man F your feet for money. Let me keep playing it.
"We were broken up." Mackenzie added, "We were broken up and it was feet, LMAO. Once again, then leave." He's pissed because I don't want to get too out here, but let a guy have sex.
She said, "We weren't together when it happened. So what you mad for? We wasn't a couple. And if you don't like it, you can leave." That's what Mackenzie said. The 17-year-old said to the 20-year-old. Okay.
Her feet, you can illustrate that in your mind, how it works. I remember when I was in high school, it was called like titty fucking. That's what people did. Well into June. On June 8th, 2022, Dom wrote, "Yeah, I love you, but last time you started hanging out with her, you literally let her sell your body to that random dude." Dom.
So there was some person that, I don't know which friend this is. They never say the friend's name. But y'all heard Dom say, well, last time you were hanging out with her, you let her pimp you out. I'm going to keep reading.
Added, "And she hooked you up with the dude." Mackenzie replied, "We were broken up and it was my feet. Do you think about it more than I think about it?" Dom wrote, "You ran off and became a prostitute." Mackenzie replied, "Because I personally don't think it's bad, but if you do and we are together, then I won't do it." Dom wrote, "You could never tell your family you were a pro." Mackenzie replied, "Because it's only my business and it's not soliciting or, the P word, prostitute, whatever." So clearly he didn't like what she was doing in the many cycles in which they were broken up and she would then get money from from other men instead of him, because he was the one who was bankrolling her life for the most part. But during the breakup cycles, she would sell photos, images, or apparently hook up with men, allegedly for money. Then on June 5th, there was another message where Dom wrote her and said, "Kenzie, there is always going to be problems if you're hanging out with someone who got a dude to fuck your feet for money." So this was a problem all the way up until a month before the crash, something that they fought about regularly. And again, if you see all of her social media activity, she lived on portraying herself with this lifestyle, these designer goods, hair and makeup perfect, sexy poses, all of these things. That's what it seemed, and ripping bong hits, like that's what she prioritized. Now there
were also pictures on her social media with money, her holding stacks of money laid out on the bed. Y'all know how people do. So let me say this. First of all, y'all already know how I feel about feet pics. I ain't got no problem with it. I'm trying to get inside. Okay. I'm trying to be part of the community. Okay. I don't have no problem with selling no feet pictures. I want to make some money doing it my damn self. That's number one. So there's no shame in that. And if they weren't together when she was doing these things, again, she wasn't your girlfriend at the time. However, the problem is she was under 18. And I don't know if there's any. Hey, Just Jonda, are you coming to my event in July? Did Trace give you the information? You hold on. My issue. I mean, I don't know if issue is the word, but my thing is she was a minor engaging in sex work, and I just don't think that's legal anywhere. Is that legal anywhere? Just Jonda, you walked in the room. Is that legal anywhere for a minor to engage, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, to engage in sex work? Is that? You welcome. KDK probably gifted you that membership, baby. KDK was cutting up the other night, gifting memberships, boo. Right. Just Jonda said it's never legal. It's never legal. Thank you so much. So my issue, once again, is this girl was really out of control. This girl was really, truly out of control. And again, I'm not accusing the mama of nothing because I don't want nobody to sue me. I am not accusing the mama of nothing. But I do have questions. Why were you so concerned about her Snapchat? You weren't concerned about her TikTok, her Instagram, her Facebook, or whatever other apps the girl was on. You was concerned about her Snapchat. And that just so happens to be the same app that she was selling her ass. I'm just questioning what you knew and when you knew it. I mean, did Mackenzie tell you while she was laying in the hospital bed, Mom, you got to get my phone back because ... Or did the mama know before that? Because let me tell y'all something, and I've told y'all this a million times. Let me tell y'all something. My mama didn't let nothing come in that house that she didn't buy. My mama didn't believe in that borrowing, loaning shit. She was like, if I didn't buy it, why do you have it? So I say all that to say this. If Mackenzie was bringing home designer things, we know she was wearing Prada slippers the night of the accident. We've seen videos of her with Chanel earrings and Louis Vuitton earrings and all of this name brand shit, which means she was wearing it around her parents, right? Remember, her mama followed her on social media, so her mama, we know for a fact her mama followed her. Her daddy probably did too, but we know for a fact that her mama followed her on social media, so they saw these things. I remember I was in college, my freshman year in college. I wasn't even living at home. I came home for I think Thanksgiving, and I had this jean jacket. It was I never forget, it was a polo jean jacket. It belonged to my girl, Erica. Polo jean jacket. And my mama didn't buy it. Baby, my mama was like, who jacket? Where you get that jacket from? And I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, now how she know I didn't pay for this? How she know I didn't buy this jacket? But all she knew was, I didn't send you out of here with that jacket. That jacket didn't come out this house. And if I had said, well, Ma, I bought it, it would have been the end of the conversation. But it was just that my mama knew I didn't buy that jacket. When you left here to go to college, that jacket it was not in your luggage. So I'm just trying to figure out how you walked in here with a jacket you didn't walk out of here with. And that was my freshman year in college. I wish I could, and my parents don't even know designers like that. But my mama would have known I was coming in the house with shit she didn't buy. My mama don't know a Chanel from a Lanelle, okay? My mama's just not that person. Now, she know Coach. My mama love her some Coach now. Now, she know Coach. Y'all know the old black women love them some Coach. My mama love her some Coach. Now, she know Coach. But I remember my brother bought her a Gucci bag one time, and my mama didn't know a Gucci from a Uchi. My mama started using that bag to carry her her yarn and her crochet needles in. My brother was like, huh? He was like, so you just gonna put your crochet needles and your yarn in the Gucci bag that I bought you? My mama didn't know Gucci from Uchi, but my mama would have known I came in that house with some shit that she didn't buy. See? Like I said it last night, parents that refuse to parent their children, this is how it ends up, or worse. Because the other thing was, come to find out, Dom and Mackenzie, they had a court case because a month before the accident, they had broken into an abandoned church and they had vandalized the damn church and had done $85,000 worth of damage to the church. And there was a whole police report. Now, obviously, after the crash happened, obviously nobody gave a damn about that abandoned church anymore. There were bigger things to deal with. But her and Dom had charges pending. Well, they had broken into this abandoned church and tore the church up. Now, what made y'all go into the church and vandalize the church? I don't know. But they said $85,000 worth of damage to that church. $85,000. I shouldn't say abandoned, maybe closed. Maybe abandoned isn't the word, because I guess if it's abandoned, it's like, well, who owns it? The church that was closed. So y'all, that is the rabbit hole I fell down. If y'all want to fall further down to the rabbit hole, I gave y'all the name of the documentary. If y'all weren't in here, it was Serialously. I'll spell it again for you guys. And Tracy put the link in the chat earlier, but it is spelled Serialously. And also my favorite true crime channel on YouTube, they did an episode this week as well. Hold on. Crime Weekly. Crime Weekly is actually my favorite true crime podcast, and I listen to it all the time. I used to listen to it like because they've been doing it, so there's no way. Well, I can say there's no way. It would take me forever to catch up on all of the episodes I've missed, but they do they did a really good breakdown on Lacey, the young lady who was pregnant, whose husband was cheating on her and he unalived her. Lacey Peterson. They did a 5-part breakdown on her. They did a really good breakdown on the girl down in Florida, Casey Anthony. They did a good breakdown on Serial, the guy from Baltimore who allegedly unalived his girlfriend, and they overturned his case and he went back to jail and all of that. So they do really good breakdowns. They usually do 2 or 3-part series for a lot of their deep dives. The only thing that irritates me sometimes is the girl who's the narrator. A lot of times she's already made up her mind and she gets really frustrated when Derek doesn't agree with her. And I'd be like, girl, it's okay for him to have his own opinion, but it's still great information. Great information. Right, R&D, but they sound like a bunch of entitled kids that got away with it. They did. And again, Dom didn't deserve what happened to him, but I don't think he was innocent. You know what I mean? I think him and Mackenzie was into some shit. But that doesn't, he doesn't deserve what happened to him. So I'm not making no excuses for that. But I think they was into some shit. I really do. All right, y'all, let me get out of here. We'll be back for Real Housewives of Atlanta tonight. And then tomorrow I'm gonna try to get us caught up on Rhode Island. Yeah. With that being said, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.